It's another edition of Two of a Kind. Today's episode, we're featuring a celebrity couple. Most of us know them from a distance. We admire them because we see them always, in the romantic mood. And today we're going to know the magic behind the union. I'm talking about Engineer Ladi and Queency Ayodele. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Thank you for having us in your garden of your beautiful home.
Thank you.
All right. I just mentioned romance just now, and both of you are always really touchy and all that. Has it always been like that?
Yeah.
Let's start with it.
They're supposed to retaliate,
Of
you know.
course. It has always been like
It's
this.
always been like
It's right
this.
from day one.
All right. So tell us about the one. How did it start?
From day one. Do you want to say?
Now, maybe
Because
we
you
should
came.
No
Day
problem. I can still remember, even though
Okay.
it's almost 25, 26
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Today, this is 2007. So I think I met her 26 and a half years ago. I was on a mission, federal government mission to Abeokuta. And each time I pass by a small house, there's always this young lady that I find around, either washing clothes by herself, and I took a second look, and I felt she has a petite structure, the type I would adore for life.
Wow.
And I went for it. I'm not, I will go for it even another time.
Oh, wow. That's so romantic.
Yeah.
So there you were washing clothes and minding your own business. So when was the first time you set eyes on him?
He just kept coming and he kept, waving his hands. And each time he passes through my house, and I'm like, who is this person? Okay. He finally came to me and spoke to me, and I said, you can't even talk to me directly. Go and talk to my daddy. If my father says yes, then I'm okay. Who is your father? Oh, incidentally, my father and himself used to have been meeting on a couple of occasions, and he spoke to my father, and then they started talking to themselves about me.
And they left you out of the picture.
Then my father came to talk to me later, and my father did all the whatever findings, and he told me that this is the man I want you to marry. And then we started.
What was courtship like?
Beautiful. I love to think about courtship once again, every time.
Can you tell us some special moments during the courtship that you felt you had made a good decision?
Well, initially when I spoke with her, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer. So whatever discussion I will start with will be from engineering point of view. When I said today I've met you and I think parallel lines meet here, he said no, parallel lines don't meet. That's what the definition is in mathematics. I said no, I'll change it today. That parallel lines meet at infinity. Now infinity is here. And that was how it started. But outside that, she's a nice lady. Not because she's sitting here. She knows that I'm a frank person. If something is wrong, I will say it's wrong, no matter who the person is. But for her own sake, in her own case, she's cultured. She has value for the house. She respects the house. She absorbs for the house. She tolerates for the house. And finally, she's loving to the house. So when I combine all this together, I don't think I'll find anybody
Anything
else.
better?
Nothing better.
You courted for how long? Was it a short one or?
No, we courted for 5 years.
5 years? That was long.
Because I was in school.
Okay, I understand. And it was sweet all through the
Yeah, I
5
had to
years.
withdraw her from school. She was in the polytechnic.
Okay.
And I have a vision. I had always had my own vision about what type of wife I needed to marry. So when she told me she was in the polytechnic, and at that time she never traveled out of Nigeria. First, I took her to US to see what life.
This was during courtship?
Yes, during courtship.
Wow! Hey,
So,
you had a great courtship to the US.
I took her to
see.
US,
Yeah.
to London, to Pittsburgh. From there to Miami, we had a good
Even to
time.
Belgium.
Yes, and from there back to London again, spent
around the
almost
world.
2 weeks. Trying to survey what other choices she had. And finally, I told her I think she needed to get out of Ogun State Polytechnic for something that will expose her better, even in her own.
What did you have in mind then for her? In terms of that exposure?
Because of the strike. And
I needed her. I didn't want to be like this, and my wife is like that.
Okay.
I was already an outgoing person in terms of exposure to the world. I traveled virtually around the whole world. And I wouldn't like a situation where I tell my wife, oh, when I was in China, I want us to say
when we were in China.
When we were in China.
So what was the feeling for you then when you were going around the world?
Of course, when he told me
it was like a fairy tale, wasn't it?
Oh yes, when he said during my holiday I should come to the US. Number one thing, I've never entered plane before. And I'm like, I'm going to enter plane, even if it was going to take me to the moon. So I'm going to enter plane. He said yes. To the US, I was like, oh wow. Then preparation started, and then there I was in the plane, innocent, naive, unexposed, and so on and so forth.
Can I leak a secret?
No.
I will leak the secret.
People learn from it, please.
No, I'll leak the secret. She was so naive that when she got to New York, it was winter time. And you know this rolling stove? She entered the rolling stove and the breeze, this cold breeze came. Oh, she ran back and went to tell immigration that, please, where is the way? He said, no, that is a gas room.
Because the type of
so after that, eventually she got, that time they put her in the hotel because her next flight would be the following day. When she got to the hotel, she thought it was the Nigerian style of opening tap. And so when the water she left. In fact, she was so naive that the following day she refused to touch anything. No bath, no nothing, just to leave that place.
Interesting. All right, now I'm thinking we're through with the courtship part. Let's come to the wedding.
Yeah.
It was a big wedding because after all that razzmatazz of going around the world and having a good time, a big wedding was, inevitable.
Yeah, it was a big wedding according to our pocket, according to our parents' pocket in those days. Well, it was a nice wedding, intercultural marriage. He's from a different state and from another state.
Okay.
So we had to do the weddings in like the two states.
Wow.
First, it was
Why?
because I'm from Ogun State.
Okay.
He's from Kogi State. We have like different cultures of marriage. So they did it first in my state, and then we did the church, the reception, and our own tradition. So when they now took me to their town, they had the wedding now started again. I was Anglican, he is Catholic. So we have to now go to Catholic church in Egbe to go and start the wedding. So for like 2 weeks we were still doing marriage.
Oh my God. Yeah. But it's all good. They cemented it for life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was good that time. 12 bottles of beer in one carton that time was 3 naira. So the money was not that.
But that 3 naira was hard to find.
Yeah, it was hard to find, but God blessed us early enough that from day one we could afford what we wanted, and we never wanted too much.
Yes, contentment.
So, yes.
That's the key. All right, you're popular for your herbal slimming establishment. People know you for that. When you mention Queency, we think about weight loss and all. When did that come into your life?
This was 1995, actually, and it came in because I used to be very, very big and unhealthy in those days, and we started battling with my weight problem. He used to carry me to Ikoyi club, go and do the gym, the everything. After the gym and everything, we sit at the bar and then replace everything
the calories.
Eat suya, drink coke and everything and stuff like that. So the weight was not going, my health was not improving. But then it was a battle with my health. And then I started thinking of what to do to actually reduce my weight. Then of course I've always been a herbal person.
Okay.
So
how so? How so? You've always been a herbal person.
As in, I grew up with the herbs.
Okay.
I was brought up in the village, like you said. I was in my village. I was brought up by my late grandmother with natural medicine. So I've always been exposed to herbal medicine from my childhood, to the extent that when we finally got married and I got pregnant with my first child, my father would come to Lagos with herbs, roots, and everything. Agbo. That look, oh, my daughter is on my agbo, and that is what I brought her up with, and that's what we should continue. And my husband would be like, I'm an engineer, I live in Lagos, I cannot be drinking this. I had to caution my daddy, please, when you are coming to this type of setup, oh, don't bring the agbo here anymore. It's village, I'll come home to come and drink the agbo. But in the end, when I became sickly, I've always been like that, so I had to now take the agbo. Then I started losing the weight, and that's how it started.
It was working.
And it was working.
Teach
so
others how to.
I had to now invite other women. First of all, those women that we used to go to that place together to battle with our weight, then I invited all of them. Then that's how I started the whole thing on them. Then, of course, my father's policy is that whatever you do, you must be trained. You have to be qualified on whatever thing you are going to face in life. So I went back to school to actually know the scientific...
What school? Herbal school?
Yeah. I went to Nigerian College of Natural Medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. To actually know the scientific, have the scientific training of whatever it is I was even taking for myself, not to talk of the things I was giving to people. Then that's how the whole thing started. And
to what we have
God
today.
for what we have today.
So what is your involvement in her chosen vocation? When she first of all started it on a large scale or small scale, growing to, what was your contribution at that time? Were you apprehensive about it all?
No, not at all. Because you say marriage, not girlfriend, boyfriend. So there was nothing about her that I didn't know. Her potentials I knew. Of course, even my decision to marry her was based on the fact that she had the potential to redevelop herself. And she has this strong commitment. You know, when you have a vision for something, you get totally entangled in that vision. It's not like today, I want to go into business of oil because some people are there and they are making money. She didn't go into the profession because of money. She went there because she was absorbed in it. One thing she didn't say was that when she was growing up, at least from the information I got, she was almost thought to be this Abiku type, you know, today healthy, tomorrow sickly. So when she first arrived in my house and the issue of this traditional thing, because I was brought up in my town where even my grandmother never believed in local medicine much. So my outlook to life is that survive by yourself and the will to survive must be there. But she knew how she grew up. So I was not surprised when the issue of herbal slimming came up. The first thing was, how do we sell it out? Because at that time, it was a bit very embarrassing for anybody at our level, at our age, to come out and say, I'm the herbal warrior. So it was unthinkable. So, and I think that was where I came in to support her, to say, look, you may be the one to pioneer it, but please go and do it well. And I'm sure you will not regret. And that was, we first started with DBN or something, when DBN first came about, and she went on here. We practiced several times in the house. I don't know how to face camera. In fact, by the time I get in front of camera, I said, no, don't forget anything. Just take camera as something that is just facing you. Afterwards, they are not showing you who you look like. So take it like we are just discussing, and I think the support was there. For other support, we are always there. And
how does she support you in what you do? You are the scientist in the house.
Yes.
And it's like totally different arena.
Well, we knew our limitations in the house. She knew that I think in a calculated manner. And she's the type that thinks only in empirical subway. So if it came to issues where we needed to put in perspective now and later, she will ask me to contribute to that. And I also know, because any woman will be sentimental about issues. when my wife is annoyed, she's a different person.
We'll talk about those ones very soon.
So,
she mentioned when she was pregnant a while ago, and I started thinking about the children.
yes.
You have lovely kids. I've met Marita, and she's involved in what you do too. In what capacity, please? Because people hardly have children who fill their shoes, but I see that's happening for you.
Actually, all of my children are involved in what I do. It's not all of them that we see outside, but even inside the factory, I have a lot of my children that are actually with me in everything. So Marita is with me to talk about what we do in the clinic. Maria is the scientist. She's the medical
She
person.
looks like a father.
Yeah, inside the factory and thereabouts. Then Diane is in the bush in the factory with me. And then, of course, my little baby is still growing up. He is taking after the father and studying engineering. So practically everybody in the house is involved.
So it's keeping it in the family. That's the magic, and it's working.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned some qualities of you. You're a loving mother. You put the house together. You hold it together. What are those qualities in him that you see that makes him dependable?
A lot. My husband is, of course, the head of my family, and he's my crown. He's a great supporter. He's my brother.
My head is swelling.
He's my brother. Of course, he's everything to me. He's my daddy most times. He has not allowed me to actually miss, my father, that I'm no longer at home. And of course, he's my lover. Without him, I cannot be anything. Without him, I don't know how I will be able to cope, even at home.
You. That's
yeah. I can't stay. If he's in Abuja, I quickly wind up whatever I'm doing in Lagos. I'm in Abuja. And if he's in Lagos, I schedule my appointments
so
to be in Lagos.
What we're saying is, home is where the heart is. So you follow him wherever he goes.
And I'm not the outgoing type that keep friends here and there. He's my best friend. He's the closest person to me. He's my next of kin.
Wow.
He's everything. Not because he's here, but he knows that is what he means.
I'm sure this is an inspiration to other couples out there. Some of them are like watching and like, oh, this is a good thing. And a lot will emulate you. Now, you like a surprise thing that happened one day.
He has taken me to Egypt. He has taken me to South Africa. We went on so many trips.
We went on camel riding.
Yeah.
And she was afraid, I'm going to fall down. Because when the camel starts rising,
it's frightening.
Yeah, it's frightening.
Then he took me to Shiroro. That's the place I've never been to in Nigeria.
Well, I think the element of marriage has to come with occasional surprises, things that you see out. The type of society we have now is a very delicate, intricate, and complex society. So I cannot say because I'm married and she's married to me, I will still not show what I know other men will be dangling across to her. A lot of marriages fail because the husband has taken for granted that it's my wife, there's nothing she's going. When the woman starts missing things that she's not getting from you, then it becomes a problem. So I try to see what exists outside and try to find time to make sure she doesn't get to a level where she thinks such things matter.
So you keep impressing her?
Yes, I have to be on my toes all the time.
Yeah.
Because just like I will tell her, if this marriage fails, it is because I, as the head, has failed. And I will not allow it to fail.
Amen. That's so inspirational. Now we'll be talking about all the good stuff. Let's come to the hard stuff. Nobody's perfect.
Yes.
I'm sure sometimes you're like, oh, I don't like this. Doesn't stop you from loving him. Doesn't mean you love him less. So what are those things that he does sometimes that you just want to like scream and shout?
As is usual with every marriage, you understand. It's not that I don't like some things about it. It's not that I don't like it, but it's something that if he doesn't do that, then maybe the marriage will have had some holes, sort of. My husband is a very factual man. If he says no, even if you have idea of why that thing must be yes, he has to be no first. And as a woman, I must be obedient to my husband. So what he says no to, I have to say, okay, no. Then if I want him to change it to yes, maybe later in the evening or the following day, I go to him in a gentle way and say, Dean, please, that thing you said no to. Let us see it from my own point of view as a woman. Can we add this? Can we add that? And in most cases, he can say, okay, all right. But as at that time, I'm not going to allow him to see that I'm trying to let him agree to, be saying yes or something. So there's nothing I don't like about him though, and I like the fact that he's factual.
There are things you don't like about me.
Like
sometimes I don't like the way he smells.
No.
It's very fussy about this food.
No, my husband doesn't snore.
When it comes to food, she knows I don't have choice.
No, yes.
Anything you put on ground is okay. Because I believe that whatever you put there, 95% of Nigerians can't even afford it. So it would be stupid of me saying,
I want to be
easy to please.
Yeah. But I know that I have my own weaknesses. She knows I shout a lot.
She didn't want to say that.
Never liked
She didn't want to say that.
She knows I shout not because I'm weaker or something, but when you live with somebody, you know how to
just
get
want
the
to emphasize
person.
the point, so you shout.
Yes.
I understand.
So when I start doing that, she retires because she knows that I'm vehement about it. Sometimes I do so purposely because she may bring an idea which she has not really emphasized on, and she just wants it to go through. I'm not the type that you scratch on the head and then allow the thing. I want to be sure I've done my analysis well, because finally I will have to own up to the success or the failure of that thing. So I won't say no. I won't say yes. My first answer may be no. I want her to prove to me that she's convinced of what she wants to do. Thereafter, we talk about it and realize it. I can see the beauty of what she's saying immediately, but I just feel that she has not really thought about it fully. Just like any other woman, an idea comes, she floats it through. I'm not the type. You float it through, I say, yes, I've heard you, but I don't agree with it.
Okay, so what are those qualities about her that sometimes you raise your eyebrows?
Just like I said, my wife, my wife is annoyed, she's not like she's sitting down here. But that's the beauty of what I like in her. When she's annoyed is when I like her.
Really? What's she like when she's annoyed?
Oh, she looks more beautiful than ever before.
So you get her angry all the time?
So, not all the time, but occasionally when I know she's getting out of hand. You can get lost in the euphoria of the house, that you don't even know when to cut back on certain things. I see her, I can't tell her to cut back, I can annoy her. Then she will cut back. I say, yes, I did it purposely so that you can. It's all this game that you have to play in the house. Otherwise, the house will be too boring for you. You are saying the same thing all over. You are talking about the same kids, So you
need some drama.
Yeah, you need some drama. You start
so that you can make up.
Sweep you off the floor and you say, I hope something is not wrong, but nothing is wrong, because my sense is very clear about what I want.
She knows.
Now I know.
You know, so you fall for it again. Like,
you're just doing it.
All right, I think we're out of time. So before we go, we want you to express your love to each other in your words. You can start, ladies first. Tell him what you feel, how you feel. You can be physical if you want to. After all, your property is your property.
Dean?
Yes, darling.
You're my first love.
Yes.
And you are still my love.
Yes.
I still love you very dearly. And I promise that I will always love you.
You say that in the church.
Give me your nose.
I have to take you to church.
Give me your nose.
Wow.
This is normal. Don't worry about that.
I'm blushing for you.
Yeah.
Now, retaliate.
Well, she's not my first love. She's the only love.
Okay.
Because first means perhaps there's a second thought. She's my only love.
Okay.
And it's a promise that I made 25 years ago. I have not changed my mind. In fact, just like I will tell her, if I die and come back again, I'll probably look for anybody who bears some more. and light complexion. I say, I'm sure I met you before, and I still want to keep you. So she's there for me, I'm there for her, and I'll remain her lover till death do us part.
Amen.
In another 150 years time.
Oh, amen. That's so romantic. Well, viewers, I'm sure you've had a wonderful time. We've been with Engineer Ladi and Queency Ayodele, and you've been inspired. Those of you who have been having, your marriage is not so romantic, you took a cue from them today and add a little spice to it. Go out sometimes with each other, visit with each other, travel if you have to, if you can afford it, and you'll see you'll be better for it. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
And say hi to the kids.
Okay.
Yes,
They're not around, if not, we would have had them on the show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Join us for another episode of the program, Two of a Kind. My name is Becky. Bye now.